More obstacles tonight in the effort to recover Lois Lerner's missing emails at the IRS. Sources telling Politico the IRS threw out and recycled the hard drives that Lerner and 6 others used while targeting Tea Party groups. The Internal Revenue Service reportedly doing so because it is, quote, standard government procedure to discard damaged hard drives. And Lerner's computer allegedly crashed in mid-2011. Computer experts that we've talked with say those emails are nonetheless backed up and are retrievable at some point after some effort. Republicans are not buying the IRS explanations and excuses, accusing the agency of lying to the American people and Congress and carrying out an outright cover-up. Well, now, 5-time Emmy Award-winning investigative reporter Sharyl Attkisson has been working on this story for some time now. She's also the author of the soon-to-be-released book, Stonewalled: My Fight for Truth Against the Forces of Obstruction, Intimidation, and Harassment in Obama's Washington. Sharyl, great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, Lou.
And congratulations on the new book. Let me start with the idea that this government would even pretend that these emails are lost.
Well, here's one problem I see, and this has been going on for some time. When federal agencies or people inside them are accused of some sort of wrongdoing, they're in essence in charge of their own investigation. It was up to the IRS to maintain the documents, to properly turn them over and respond to the subpoena, but it's the IRS that if there was wrongdoing committed, in whose interest it's vested to hide this and cover it up. So the system as it is seems to be a bit flawed. And this is an example of it. I don't know how you get it to happen, but it seems to be there should be an independent technician of some sort that can dig through these materials and see if these emails really are irrevocably lost.
The experts, Sharyl, that we've talked with, to a person say that somewhere in the virtual foundation of our federal government are those emails, whether they be on tape backup, whether they be on other servers, whether they be in some form. I'm not familiar with the cloud and the technology's application to the federal government, which, as you know, can be somewhat, well, slow to advance. But these tapes, we're assured, are retrievable in some form. What are your thoughts?
To a man, I've been told the same thing by IT experts, some of whom work for and have worked for the government or have done contracting work, and insist that it's a ludicrous argument, they say. Everyone says the same thing, to say that these emails are gone and that they're gone forever, because people that I've spoken to, like you, say that's simply not the case.
And Sharyl, the question becomes, what are the powers of Congress? We've seen this Congress stonewalled at every turn, whether it's Fast and Furious, whether it is spying on journalists, whether it's IRS targeting, Benghazi. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And yet the national liberal media, as I often style it, simply will not rise up to the level of a watchdog fourth estate. Instead, they're behaving much more like lapdogs. It is, to me, mind-boggling.
They're just not terribly interested, or their interests often lie elsewhere in other stories, and in the limited time that they have on television to tell stories, they can find plenty of other ways to fill the space than to look into some of these controversies. And I think to some degree, they're sort of been played by the propaganda interests who suggest that if these stories are covered, they're simply phony scandals and they're Republican generated, which they're not, in my opinion. From a neutral viewpoint, there are many important questions to be asked and implications here. But the propaganda campaign says that if you're interested in the story, you're a conservative and you're, right-wing nut. And the media shouldn't be swayed by that. But I think to some degree they are.
Well, and if your last name is Rhodes and one of you works to run CBS News and the other is working in national security in the White House, that just happens to be a familial matter that is of no interest to the nation, those kinds of relationships. You've had your phones tapped, you've had your computers hacked. I mean, this is going to be chilling to you.
Well, to some degree, it's disturbing. It makes me angry, but it doesn't chill me. It doesn't dissuade me from doing the job that I need to do. But I think that I was never intended to find out that this was happening, and I found out just by happenstance and luck. I think what they were trying to do is find out what I was about to report on, what sources were speaking to me, and how much I knew about these controversial stories that I was reporting on at the time.
Well, Cheryl, we appreciate you being here with us tonight, and we're looking forward to your new book, Stonewall, My Fight for Truth Against the Forces of Obstruction, Intimidation, and Harassment in Obama's Washington. Maybe we'll break through this just in time for publication.
I hope so. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Cheryl. Time now for a look at our online poll results. We asked which of the president's options on Iraq do you support? 63% said airstrikes, 7% said special forces, 30% said nothing at all. Be sure to vote in our poll tonight. With the administration embroiled in an unbelievable number of scandals, a foreign policy track record that is failure, and more than 20 million Americans unemployed, should Congress be going along with any proposal made by this White House of any kind? Cast your vote at LouDobbs.com.